Hello, and now this time around, I have Claire Hickson with me, who has just completed our Awaken Life program. And welcome, Claire. Welcome to this little interview, and thank you for agreeing to do this session.
Thank
Claire
you.
has also no idea what I'm going to ask her, but she's agreed to share, her account. So maybe we can start with that, Claire. And obviously, you've been doing this work now for what was it, like a couple of months.
Mm.
Let's maybe just talk about you and the you before you did any of this work, and to whatever degree you want to share. If you don't, stuff you don't want to share, that's okay. What was your life like? Who were you before you kind of started this program, and then we can delve into the rest of the journey in a minute.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Yeah, it'll be a
Thank you.
pleasure to share the experience
Thank you.
because it's just been really powerful experience for me. Um, yeah, the beginning kind of coincided with lockdown, so it was interesting timing. Um,
Mm,
I started doing your meditations, which kind of led me to the journey of seeing your course, your program, and basically signing up for that, and knowing that that was the right um, move for me with any hesitation at all. I just saw it and thought, yeah, that's definitely the path that I'm going to take. So the person I was before the program, pretty happy. I've got a nice life. I'm married. I've got 3 children. We don't really want for anything. I can't complain. But I have always had a lack of self-belief, basically. That has kind of haunted me for most of my life. And not really trusting the voice within me. Always looking to other people for the answers, looking everywhere possibly I could look apart from inside of me. Um, of course, there would be times when I have listened to my own intuition and my guiding voice, but I found that too much kind of mental clutter was drowning out my voice, and what I believe in and what my values are. So the person before, sure, looking for direction from others, very, how do I describe this? Very concerned with what everybody else is thinking and what everybody else is thinking of me. So not feeling very powerful, not feeling very in control at all. Because if you're constantly looking outside of you and not doing what you believe to be the right thing, then you're just in a perpetual state of doubt. And that inner world that I was carrying around for years and years and years very much dictated my outer world. So for me, lockdown was really interesting because it happened. I would usually be very, I mean, I was when it was first announced, I felt very fearful, but then I just had this real instinct to care for myself and go within, and
mm,
not worry too much about the external world. So
okay.
it was definitely the right move for me.
Okay. Thank you for that. And what made you then sign up for the program? What was the experience of the program? And what are you left with now? Let's just start. Kind of like, what made you sign up for the program? What was it like?
Mm. I had already started doing your morning meditation, which had had almost an immediate effect on me, where I was releasing a lot of emotion that was obviously stuck. I knew very little about energy work, and so the nice thing for me is that I came into and then your course with absolutely no expectations, and didn't even read up too much about it. So yeah, I started with the meditations, and then when I saw you advertise a mini Awaken, I was at a point then where I felt like I needed to ground myself a little bit more in my own life, because our lives were just sent upside down when lockdown happened. And I thought that would be the perfect way to start. So the mini Awaken was fantastic, and that gave me a taste for what would be involved in the Awakened Life. And when I saw your feature for Awakened Life, there was just no hesitation in me whatsoever. They stopped, and in a funny way, everything was aligned as well. I had the space to do it. I suddenly found I had a certain amount of money in the bank account that was the
Wow.
exact amount of money that I needed. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of almost shouting at me, you know, come and do this. So I did, and no looking back. The program itself, as I say, I went into fairly naive to the end of teaching would be. So I didn't necessarily understand the healing side of it. So for me, that was a pleasant surprise, and it fascinated me. And yeah, it just amazed me. So I think for me, the course has been a special blend of different teachings and approaches that when it's all combined together, I think it is just completely unique, is how I would describe it.
Amazing.
Mm.
And what was it that you experienced in the mini Awaken that made it kind of like not even, like you just had to jump into the Awaken life? So the mini Awaken is, for those of you who don't know watching this video, it's the half day on the Saturday from 2 to 6 normally. And then the Awaken Life program was a 15-day program that was born out of really just our time in lockdown, as you mentioned. So, I mean, you don't have to go into all the details if you don't want to, but just kind of broadly, something happened or something opened up for you there, which then inspired you to maybe come in and continue, into the bigger program or the longer one.
Yeah,
Is that?
totally. The mini Awaken, I felt that when we started the session, I mean, I was very lucky because I think it was one of your first one. It was your first one. So I got quite a lot of your time, which was brilliant. So I was able to share how I was feeling. And basically, the mini Awaken showed me how you approach things. So I came at it very open, and I am quite in tune with my feelings, and I can articulate where I'm at, but I get very nervous. So now I don't feel nervous, which is a testament to your program. But in the mini Awaken, I felt extremely nervous, and the first thing you did was say to me, okay, shut your eyes, put your hand on your heart. And I thought, hello, what's going on here? What's he going to do? Is he going to hypnotize me? But basically, you calmed me straight down, and you made me track exactly what I was feeling. So shut everything else out. Shut the voice that's saying, "Oh my God, you're going to mess this up, or you're going to embarrass yourself, or you can't say this and you can't say that." It just cuts through everything and gets right to the nub of it. And you did that very, very quickly with me. So it was transformative that day. I felt the effects of just 4 hours in that day. And I think from memory, you did a healing on me as well, but I didn't even know that was a healing. But I felt immediately better after that, and really quite free. And I remember saying to you, you said, how do you feel now? And I said, I feel quite strong. I feel quite powerful from quite a deep place, and but in a good way.
Yeah.
So I think because that left me in that place, as soon as I saw the 15-day program, I just knew I needed to carry on and have more of that. And the fact that it was with a big group of people was kind of double-sided for me. On the one hand, I was thinking, oh God, I don't know if I want to be in a group of 60 people and say stuff in front of them, and but then on the other side, it has been the best bit. It's been an amazing community of people,
Yeah.
and a huge part of the learning.
Yes. So, okay, thank you very much for that. And what then was the experience of Awaken Life, the 15-day program? And I think, some of you stayed, and I think you stayed for an extra, 7 days after that.
Yeah.
What was the first, like in the 15 days, maybe, let's talk about that.
Yes, it was exciting. That would be the word I would come up with. straight away.
Mm-hmm.
When I knew we were starting the following morning, I was just excited. I knew there was some familiarity with it because I obviously knew we were going to start the morning with the meditation, but
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to be with this new group of people who I assumed had probably quite similar reasons for signing up to me. So it was a very special day one in the meditation, knowing that we were all there together and we were about to start this journey. So it was special. And as I say, the shares, when we all get together and we have an hour and a half share every day, and that would happen either at the beginning of the day straight after the meditation or towards the end of the day, were just gold. Because even if I didn't get to speak that day, everybody's shares were so helpful. You can find something to relate to in every single person that shares. You can think, oh yeah, I feel a bit like that as well. And then of course you were here and there giving healings to those people. And so within that share, even if you're not doing the sharing, you would go along with the healing and put your hand in the heart and say yes to receive it. So that was the bit that was a total surprise to me. I didn't know we were going to be doing that kind of energy work. So I loved it. And now I'm completely fascinated with energy work. So thanks.
Amazing. And what's been the impact of all of that for you? You know, now that you finish, and I think you did the 15, and you extended for another 7 days because the group asked. And by the way, those of you watching, that's probably never going to happen again. If it does happen, it's going to be 15 days. So, what are you left with now, and what's possible? And I mean, you've had an amazing journey, right?
I really have. During the program, I started to feel the effects almost immediately. I felt very calm and relaxed. I felt on certain days just a real joy that would just come out of me, and I just used to feel, I was feeling on particular days just amazing joy and gratitude and happiness. Some of there was probably under the first week where I pretty much fessed up to myself. So I sat there and I wrote out everything that is probably I think they call it the shadow self, don't they? So the bits of you that you kind of try and hide and try and pretend that, are not there, the bits you're not proud of. And I fessed up to all of it. And then I had a day of feeling quite kind of, wow, this is really difficult. But then it shifted through. So the progress through the course was just amazing, kind of like a roller coaster of emotions, but in a very, very, very good way.
Yeah.
It started improving my marriage, my relationship with my husband. And the other thing that happened was I started writing. And I won't talk about it too much, but I just had an urge to write a poem. The first two were when I was meditating with you, and I'd finished a meditation, and I just had this title come up in my head. I thought, oh, it's come, and started
And have you written poems before?
No, at school.
Okay, wow.
Obviously,
So
English
a couple of years
GCSE.
ago.
Quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I might have written the odd little jingle in a birthday card or something, and I might have said the odd little thing to my kids when they were little. But this was different. It was my feelings coming out. I was expressing.
Wow. So it just unlocked
Yeah.
a poet in you.
Yeah. And I'm still getting used to it. It's so strange, but lovely. I mean, I shared about it this morning on the Facebook group, but when I first started writing them, I would get this very clear thought about the poem title, and then the words would start flowing, and my pen, I'd go, and my hand was shaking, and I'd get this sense of adrenaline, but sort of
Wow.
excitement until I'd finished that poem, and they would come out within about, I mean, under 5 minutes
Wow.
sometimes, and no hesitation, just, you know, and they've steadily developed. I have writing most days, sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's just been a real gift. And in a funny
Wow.
way, for me, because I lacked such self-confidence and didn't kind of recognize what my talents were, or allow myself to congratulate myself or anything like that. It makes me smile slightly, because I feel like whoever's delivered that to me, source, the divine universe, whatever we want to call it,
Yeah.
is kind of chuckling. He's kind of chuckling and saying, well, take that, you know, here's have that, have this gift, and you try and deny that you can't be proud of that. So
Wow.
it's like it's like it's having a slight joke with me. Um,
Yeah,
because
well, the universe has a great sense of humor.
it does, and I have had moments where I've thought, should I be sharing these? And will people will people think I'm showing off? Are they even good enough? Is this the right structure for them? I mean, I haven't looked
Mm.
at poetry and how it works for years, but then I've got over that, and just I'm learning. It's making me learn to open and receive and be grateful for that.
And for those watching, Claire's poems are amazing.
Yeah,
The fact that it just comes in, it's
thank
just like stream of consciousness that comes through. They're amazing. So thank you for
you.
sharing those. And I mean, was it today you were saying that you had like, was it 30 more that has just come through in the last few days or a week? Downloading
I've written,
the poem downloader.
yeah. Somebody called it a poet machine gun or something. I think it was Eve. Eve on Facebook said, "Wow, Claire, you're like a poet machine gun." And I was like, "Oh, there might be a poem in that." um, I think I've written about 35 in
Wow.
total so far,
In how many
and a
days?
uh, that would be about 3 weeks, I guess.
Wow.
Um, and they keep coming, so I'll just keep going with it, just allow it. And a proportion of those are as a direct inspiration from your program. So
Mm.
I have a collection of poetry, about awakened life, starting with a big poem that came to me right at the beginning in the first week, that was
Yeah.
just all about our experience and our
Mm.
journey. So I'm going to put that collection together,
Amazing.
for all
And
of
I'd
us
love
on
to
the
have
planet.
you, if you're up for it, come and read them in the live Awaken program. So those of you coming to the live Awaken program, there's a few of these amazing surprises, homegrown. I want to say homegrown, but I can't take credit for that. It's you. You're coming in with the talent. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to
yeah,
do that.
thank you. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Thank you. I'd love that. And I'm just aware because I'm terrible at keeping time. But I think we kind of got another 5 or 10 minutes to go. So at this stage, what's possible for you from, having done all of this stuff they've done, you've, done a lot of healings, a lot of inner work, really. It's kind of what I
Mm.
call it, like inner work, transformation work. And you've shifted a lot of stuff. So, where would you like to go with this? Like what's possible or what would you like to be possible?
I think at a very simple level, I would like to continue the work. I know that it's a journey, and it's not just a magic fix. It's not 2 weeks of a magic wand and then you walk out and go, hey, everything's sorted, I'm fixed. Because we're all a work in progress, and it takes hard work. And I recognize that, because even this week I've had the odd kind of wobble, and
Mm.
just a little return back to old patterns, but it doesn't
Yeah.
last long before I tell myself to shush, and I use some of the teachings that you've given, to pull myself back and sit down and meditate, whatever you need to do. So I want to continue with the inner work, so that I just continue to build on me, and be in control of my life, taking responsibility and taking the
Mm.
choices that I want to take, not sort of, looking to everybody else and for those answers. In terms of my purpose, our situation has changed completely. So who knows what's going to be happening with me and my husband, and where we're going to take things sort of for our careers. But certainly for my personal joy, I will continue to work on my writing and just see where that takes me, really. Amazing. I don't really have any expectations with it, but I keep bringing myself back, just thinking, well, what would be my purpose with the writing would be to serve others in some way. So if I can express things through that writing that help other people, then that would be everything for me. So
beautiful. And have you got something where people can actually find that writing already, or not yet? It's coming.
Not yet.
Okay, cool. We'll wait.
I'm waiting for the divine intervention.
For the website name.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you have learned maybe from this time, in doing this work, and that we can, if you could share with people watching this video, that maybe they can take and, I don't know, apply into their lives? What are some of the things?
It's 17 hours.
Did you just hear Siri on my Mac?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No
worries. Some of the things I've learned, that you have to understand that the thoughts that are in your mind, there's some.
Oh,
you're
cutting out there. Sorry.
Because
might need to start again because you
imaginative.
cut out.
Oh yeah.
It's the connection.
I'll start again. Yes. Yes. Where was I?
Be aware of the
I've now
thoughts.
gone blank. Yes. So be aware that the kind of mental clutter and the thoughts and the overthinking and ruminating about things and doubtful thoughts aren't the essence of you. And that was very comforting to me, because I used to probably beat myself up about having the thoughts and having the negative thoughts and knowing that I didn't need that. So understanding that my thoughts are not necessarily me and that there's somebody behind that is the essence of me is really comforting, and that's been powerful for me. And now I'm going to go blank again.
That's okay.
Trying to think of the other learnings.
No
There's
worries.
loads.
That's a powerful one anyway, to bring the awareness to the thoughts and thinking and the effects of that. So for, there are people probably watching this video right now because, the Awaken Life is obviously finished now, and, I don't know, probably later in the year we'll reopen the enrollment for it. But right now, it's really out of inspiration from you guys, the group at Awaken Life. That Soul Gym came about, and obviously right now we're in the enrollment period of Soul Gym, and that ends on Friday. What are some of the obstacles that you had coming into even Awaken Life? And it might be still the same kind of questions that people have, watching this. Like, I mean, some, like, as an example, someone might be saying, how can I afford this, or how can I justify, this sometimes, it looks like there's money going out, and is it going to be worth it, and how do I justify it? Or what were some of the obstacles that you had? Was it time, money? Was it a feeling of like, can I do this? Or what was it for you, and how did you overcome those? What would you say to people, that are having these kinds of questions in their minds?
Probably one of my obstacles, it would have been financial.
Okay.
Just given the situation that we were in at the beginning of lockdown, where our businesses just went flat. So it was ironic that at a time like that, where usually you would you wouldn't necessarily allow yourself to invest a sum of money on something like this, which is quite, to anyone else, or even perhaps to yourself, it might look a bit sort of intangible, so what am I going to get back from this? But actually, for me, it's like it kind of manifested itself. I found the money. I think that if you're willing to invest time in yourself, and if you know what you want to come out,
Mm.
what to get out of it, that you can find there are ways around it.
Yeah.
So I pushed aside any guilt that I had about spending that money on
Okay.
myself. I pushed that
That's a
aside.
big one.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching this, pushing aside the guilt of spending that money and seeing it as like a spending to what did you then see it as?
Investment, because
Okay.
I would not be where I am now and without spending that money. I don't even think about the money now, actually. It's
Mm.
happened. It's happened. It's gone.
Yeah.
But I am a different person, a completely different person. And
Yeah.
it's not like the 2 weeks, or actually 3 weeks for us, just ended and there's
Mm.
this line. I mean, you are still processing it. You're still thinking about it. I'm still going back on the notes that I made. I can go back in and watch the shares that I did or other people did. I'm still meditating every day. I'm still doing your yoga.
Yeah.
So it carries on. So, I mean, if you were really struggling to justify it financially, you could kind of spread that out over a year and say, well,
Mm.
that's what's that going to be for me per week, per
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
whatever, per minute.
And how would you say the value now? Because, obviously at that time there was a cost, and those people who are thinking of Soul Gym right now, thinking, well, it's like £59 every month for 12 months, or if they paid up front, then they get, like a lesser fee, or an investment. Now that you've actually been through this process and you're on the other side of it, because, before we sign up, we're at some point, and then after you sign up, you feel differently.
Mm.
Now, if you look back at the value, and if you were to just kind of roughly guess and put just a value on what you've received like opposing to what you actually put into it, like invested into it, I mean, how does that compare or weigh out? What would you value it at now? The shifts with
Gosh.
your, like your marriage. I mean, it
Yeah.
sounded like it saved your like you saved your marriage from doing this work.
Yeah.
You saved your marriage, and then you opened up some kind of creativity in you, and just this like poems are just kind of flowing out of you.
Mm.
So I mean, it's kind of hard to quantify it, but if you were just to like say, I mean, you made an investment, how many times over would you say it's worth,
Um,
if you were to guess?
I don't even think I could put a value on it. I mean, my instant reaction is priceless. It's priceless to me
Mm,
because it's unlocked my confidence and the creativity. Who knows where that will go? Anything is possible.
yeah,
So yeah, it's got to be worth a
yeah,
huge multiplication of the original cost.
yeah.
I mean, if I end up, who knows? I mean, anything is possible. I might end up publishing a book of poetry
Yes.
that is that is popular and
Absolutely.
brings me success. So that's priceless to me.
The next J.K. Rowling in poems.
Don't know. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Absolutely, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, and I think, the reason I was kind of talking about that is because, before we go in and invest in ourselves, sometimes we think about it and we think, oh, this is cost and this and that. But then, when you come out of it on the other side, and when you've had this kind of an experience, and this is, consistent, with this kind of a work, when you do this kind of inner work, it really is, an investment in yourself, right?
Mm,
And when we invest in ourselves, that's the greatest return. In any
mm,
form of investment, the greatest form of investment is in ourselves. You in your life and me in my life. And I mean, wow. But I just wanted to ask you and your account on it, to say it from your experience, having done the program.
mm.
Um, Thank you so much for your time. And is there any kind of closing thoughts, or, learnings, or anything else that you want to share with people who are, they don't know this work, people might watching this video have never done this kind of work before, or
Mm,
maybe they've just seen a couple of the videos that I've put out and they're like, yeah, what's this? I'm going to check it
mm,
out. What would your words of maybe guidance, wisdom,
mm.
support would be for them?
I would say, firstly, don't be intimidated. It's very real. There's not lots of confusing rhetoric and things like that. There's no technical things that you might think, I don't know what he's talking about. Dylan will just cut through and speak in a very real way. And actually the content still makes me giggle. There's just some of the catchphrases. I mean, there's poems that have come from your catchphrases because they're hysterical. So there's humor in it. It's not, you're not going to, you're not going to come out sort of up your own backside, basically. You're going to stay... Yeah.
Soldier, you're not going to come out up your own backside on the website.
You're basically going to stay real and stay grounded, but it's just, there's a unique blend of things that you're going to experience that that I won't even describe, because I want you to go on and experience them and you'll have fun, and you'll come out the other end completely differently. And the last thing I would is, for me now, coming out the other side of it, I know that I will look back when I'm older and remember that lockdown, this strange time in the pandemic that could have been very fearful. I could have been locked in my house going, I'm feeling anxious and this, that, and the other. But actually what I did was I blossomed.
Wow.
And I decided I'm worth it. I'm going to spend that money, because now is as good a time as any, because I think the world is changing as well. And I hope that it's changing for the better on a spiritual level. I hope more people take on this kind of work, because that's what we need to do. So I just feel very sure of myself that I did the right thing during lockdown, that I invested in me. And it could, because it is the perfect time. If not now, when?
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, and thank you for sharing that, and that's not something, I hear that a lot as well, but people say, and like sometimes I speak to people, years later, and I've had the privilege of speaking to them years later, and they're like, they would still say that was, that work that we did back then in that program, that was a turning point for me. That was, it just took my life into a different trajectory. So, thank you for saying that, because, obviously we didn't talk about that, and you're saying it's just perfect. Claire, is there anything else you want to share, or people, how they can, if you have any of your work out there, if there's anything that you want to, say about your work? I don't know, there's other stuff that you do as well. I know you're very talented. If you want to share any of that, you can. Otherwise, we can start to wrap things up.
Yeah, I'm completely not at the stage where I've started to kind of share it publicly yet.
Okay.
But I do have an Instagram, which is at Heal, Flow and Grow.
Okay.
And I created that about 6 months ago, and I didn't even know why. And it just sat there, not doing anything. So I think I'm understanding why I created that. So keep an eye on Heal, Grow and Flow, and I may well start sharing my poetry on there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know you've probably got a million other things that you could be doing right now, and I really appreciate you being so open and generous, in sharing your journey with me and us, whoever's watching this video. And I hope I know it's going to inspire someone, if not lots of people out there. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for all you being there in the journey and part of our family, our tribe. It's great to have you with us, and I look forward to the next parts.
Thank you, Dylan. Thanks
for
having me.
Take care.
Thank you.